What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to bring you a video where I make my eyeshadow look with my perfect Menagerie Cosmetics palette. Now I have already previously recorded the video where I created the perfect palette with the 4 palettes that I have in my possession, which is the Whalesong palette, the Violet Ink palette, the Dragon Child palette, and the Pharaoh palette. I will have that of course linked down below and maybe even flashing in the cards. We'll see how fancy I am today. And that's about it. I'm creating this look. I tried to use all 12 shadows and I believe I did. Don't check me if I didn't. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this look, and if you're interested in seeing how I created this look, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so as you can see I got a crazy eye going on over here. This is going to be the finished look. Well, this is going to be the look that I try and replicate over here for my perfect palette of Menagerie Cosmetics. Just as I always do, I'm going to go ahead and start off with my base. I am using quite a bit of brushes, but that's because I was able to and attempted to use all 12 shadows in this look. So do take your time if you're going to be recreating this, because it did take me a while to slowly figure out what I wanted to do, but I am just going to go right into it. First, I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Plankton, which is like a really cool camel with a green undertone, and I'm just going to apply it on a really fluffy brush, and this is going to be my transition color. I don't expect this shade to really show up all that much in the final look. As you can see, it really doesn't show up all that much on my other eye, but I do just want it to be a transition to set a layer down for all the colors that are coming next. Next, what I'm going to do is take a Rougher 13, which is like a fluffy detail crease brush, and I am going to build my crease. I am going to start off with the shade from my Dragon Child palette. I'm going to go into the Dragon Child shade, and this is going to be the shade that I put in my inner third. Now, one thing I do need to note, or make sure you guys understand, is that Menagerie Cosmetics, majority of their shades are extremely pigmented, especially with this Dragon Child palette. So do make sure to build the color at your speed and apply the color at your speed. Don't put too much or it will show. Okay, I think I've blended this pretty well. Next, we're going to go into the second shade, and the second shade is going to come from my Violet Ink palette, and it is going to be Jellyfish. This is going to be the shade that goes in the middle of my crease for this look. And once again, I'm just going to take my time really building the color and making sure I don't add too much too quickly. I am just using that same rougher brush. I really forgot that I had this brush, but I think that's because I used it so much as soon as I got it and was too lazy to clean my brushes. Okay, last shade that I'm going to be putting in my crease is a green. I'm going to be taking a second shade from my Whalesong palette, and this is the shade Kelp, and that is the shade that's going to be on my outer crease and blending out my outer V. Now, out of all 3 of the shades in my crease, I found that this was the one that I had to go back and actually build up after completing my full look. So I'm going to try and be a little bit heavier handed this side, and maybe I won't have to do it again. I don't mind building it up again, but it just, you know, why have to do that if you can make it work the first time? And I think that looks outstanding and beautiful. I actually like that arc of 3 colors and just like white out my, or clear out my lid. And maybe if I was able to do like a wet lid, this would be like a really nice arc for that. But I don't know how to do that, and I'm not trying to learn right now. So, no. So next we are going to continue to build my outer V. I started off with that next, and we're going to go back into the Violet Ink palette, and we are going to go into Inkjet, which is the darkest shade that I chose out of all of these palettes to create for my perfect palette. And I'm just going to build my outer V. Now I'm just tapping the product in right literally in my outer V, and then I will blend it out with this brush. This, if I am correct, is an MUA, just builder brush. Yep, it is. Blending brush. I could never find this same brush when I went back, but I originally found it in a Walgreens, I believe. No, it was a CVS. So if you're able to find this brush, I will say this used to be one of my favorite detail, blending brushes. Until I got some that were a little bit more expensive and the hair quality is just a little bit better. Not a little bit, it's a lot better, but you know, you work with what you got. Okay, and hopefully you guys can see, focus. So hopefully you guys can see how this is slowly building and just starting to replicate what's on my other eye. Now what I'm going to do is cut my lid with my NYX glitter glue. I will never need another glitter glue after this one. Like, this glitter glue is lasting for an eternity. And I'm just going to do a partial cut, making sure that I don't erase what I've already done on my outer V with that Inkjet shade. And I'm just going to do it with one of my favorite brushes, which is from Refer, and it is the Refer P21. Okay, so now that I've laid that base down for that outer V shade. Okay, so now that we've laid that outer V, or that I've cut my lid, that I'm just going to work on just blending that outer V shade slowly on top of that new base, working on not getting too much demarcation between where it's blended on the outer V and the new shade I just applied. Then I'm going to take this same brush and we are going to go for another purple. This one is Stone Drake, and I am just going to take this and I'm just going to take this shade and apply it liberally right along this outer edge. I'm not going to go all the way up to the top of this cut, because I am going to actually put a shadow right there, and I'm just going to work on just blending those two shades. Okay, I like how those are blended. Now I am going to go into, what palette is this palette? The Whalesong palette, and I'm going to use my last shade from this palette, and I'm going to go into Fluke. And this is actually going to go right along the edge of my cut. Okay, now I've pretty much almost finished my whole upper lid. I'm just gonna go into the Ferro palette and go ahead and hit Pack Leader, and this shade is gonna go all over my lid. I'm just gonna use that same rougher brush just because it's handy and nearby, but you can use any brush for any part. Honestly, I just enjoy this brush immensely. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and use the last shade that I need to use from the Menagerie Cosmetics palette, and I'm going to go ahead and, from the Violet Ink palette, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Mimic, and this is going to be the shade that goes into my inner corner. So my whole upper, my whole upper area is done, and I have now completed using 2 full palettes or 6 shades thus far. Now I have a couple more shades that I need to work with, and to do that, it's actually going to be a little bit simpler than how I originally did it. I'm going to use a ColourPop liner in Puppy on the outer V of my waterline, just so that I can get one of these shades to really pop. Okay, and then what I'm going to be doing is going into the Ferro palette and the shade, I think this is the shade. That's not the shade. Oops. We're going to go into the shade Wisteria, so my eyes are going to be a little bit different. I used the wrong shade. And that shade's actually sticking a lot better too. Okay, so I put Wisteria down, and now what I'm going to do is go into the Dragon Child palette and put down the shade Sleeping Dragon, which is the last shade in this palette I need to use. Okay, and then to blend both of those puppies out, I'm going to go back into the Ferro palette and use the shade Night Eyes. And this is how I created the eyeshadow look. So what I'm going to do is hop off camera really quickly. I need to do my waterline and my mascara. I am going to zoom out so you guys can see the full, stay zoomed in so you guys can see the full look. Then I'm going to zoom out and tell you guys what's the rest of the products that are on my face. Give me 1 second. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. Hey, so this is the finished look. Like I said, I used, I believe, all 12 shadows from my Perfect Menagerie Cosmetics palette. I will have linked down below the video where I am creating this palette in case you're interested. It should be up prior to this video. In case you're wondering what's the rest of the stuff on my face, first I'm going to start off with my nails. Let me give you guys a close-up. So it doesn't appear that my camera can really do this justice, but this is that base that you can see, that teal, not teal, that lime green base with like rose gold flecks on there. The only thing that I honestly think would make this better of a nail polish is if the flecks were actually bigger. I would love to see if they either have a bigger flex or if I can find a brand who provides that, because I am thoroughly enjoying the shade. I did just put it on today, but it's still pretty. On my lips is MAC's Consensual. On my cheeks, I have my Fenty bronzer and my Becca blush in Songbird. I also have my Chasing the Sun highlighter from the Desi and Kati collection with Dose of Colors. Brows are the same, foundation's the same. Concealer, I finally finished that concealer. I'm so happy to throw that away. Normal mascara, normal eyeliner, everything else is the same. So this is the finished look. I had so much fun today. I cannot tell you guys how much fun I had just creating this look. It has been a doozy. Okay, it took me a while to get here, but I finally got here and I actually enjoyed the look. I think overall the black really grounded the look in my liner and my mascara, and it looks nice. Of course, let me know how you guys feel about the look. Don't be too mean if you don't really like it. I'm okay, but just say I didn't like it. Don't go in on me. Don't go in on my blending skills. I know my skills aren't that great, but yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking. There's a lot of noise going on in the background. I will see you guys in my next video, and as always, y'all, it is